Welcome to this episode of the Metal Verbalizers podcast. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and today I have a new great band to recommend, Sarcator. Sarcator is a black/death thrash metal band from Sweden, founded in 2018. The members had been playing for a while before that as a cover band, but it was in 2018 that the members started doing jam sessions, and when they started working on the band's first riff, which became the open riff to the song Purgatory Unleashed. That is considered by Sarcator themselves to be the official start of the band. I think it's really cool how Sarcator actually came up with the name of the band. It originated from when a band wrote the song DISCLAMER. The members felt that the song reminded them of bands like Sarcophago and Creator. Therefore, they decided to make a combination of those names. Sark from Sarcophago and Ater from Creator. Which becomes Sarcator. At first they used it as a temporary work name for the song that eventually became DISCLAMER. But eventually they realized that the name works really well as a unique band name, and I tend to agree. I think I've mentioned this in earlier episodes, but I will say it again. And that is that I really like it when bands kind of do it like this, when they can like take a word, or like they take two words or something like that, and then they can like change it a little bit and like push them together to kind of like make one word. I don't know. It's something that I think usually makes the band name look very interesting and just looking and sounding cool for some reason. There are other examples of that in earlier episodes on this podcast with other bands who kind of like did something like that, and it's something that I think is really great. And when the way like Sarcator did it with like two band names, and like putting those together to kind of make their own band name, I think it's really cool. And like Sarcator as a name is something I both think look and sounds really cool, and as Sarcator have said themselves, like they realize that the name works really well as a band name, and I really agree with that. When it comes to Sarcator's influences as a band, they're very influenced by, for example, Metallica and Slayer. But sound-wise, the band is significantly more influenced by bands such as Sarcophago, Creator, and Sodom, which were all very important bands for Sarcator when they made the demo and also when they made their debut full-length. On the second Sarcator record, however, they were also very influenced by bands like Watain, Dissection, In Solitude, and The Devil's Blood. I believe that the Watain influence is very prominent in a song like The Long Lost, for example. But I also think that that there is a lot of Marduk in that song. I would say I think it's kind of like the instrumental parts are reminding me more of Watain, but the vocals in that song somehow like reminds me a lot of kind of like how Mortis is singing in Marduk. It's something in the like vocals that just made me think about Mortis. So like if you like bands like Watain and Marduk, you should definitely check out that song, because I think you'll really like it. Many people have compared Sarcator with bands like Old Creator and Dissection. Members of Sarcator have described their sound as kind of Kind of like if you take the intensity of 80s black thrash, such as Creator, Sodom, Celtic Frost, etc., and mix that together with the melodies of Swedish black metal, you would get Sarcator. You can definitely hear a lot of black metal in a song such as Disciple, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. But I would also like to add old school Swedish death metal into that mix. There are definitely parts in Sarcator's music that at least reminds me a lot of bands like Dismember. I would also say that there's a lot of Exodus in Sarcator's sound. I don't know. I think it could be like kind of like how Sarcator is playing very heavy and like very aggressive, but still kind of like manage to implement clear melodies into the sound, if you know what I mean. This is something that I'm personally a very big fan of. To kind of like really heavy and aggressive, but kind of like somehow like implementing those melodies in there. I would say that Sarcator is definitely a band that is doing that very, very well. Another band that I think Sarcator reminds me of, by the way, I would say is kind of like old school Sepultura. You know, with the like very aggressive and intense thrash metal sound that makes it almost sound more kind of like death metal at times rather than thrash metal. I don't know. It's just like when you kind of like mix those kind of like genres such as thrash metal and death metal like that, and kind of like sort of I guess you could say kind of like going between being like a death influenced thrash metal band to kind of like almost sounding like a thrash influenced death metal band, if you know what I mean. It's like bands like that usually tend to get a very, very cool and like very, very you know, I'd say like aggressive and heavy sound, which is a certain sound that I'm a very, very big fan of. When it comes to Sarcator's image, they don't really have any like general big image for the band. These things are also usually like changing from album to album, so it's kind of like one album could have one certain like theme and image, and like the next album might not, maybe have like something completely different. But the themes tend to revolve around things like blood, fire, and death, you know, like nice things like that. And it's like the darkness and kind of like honesty in the music are things that are very important for Sarcator as a band. The overall mindset of the band is kind of like that they do what they want and what they feel like. They like they do what they personally think looks and sounds good. Like if Sarcator thinks it looks and sounds good, they go for it. And like this is a certain mindset that I really, really like, and something that I really, really respect. To kind of like you know, if you just want to do it, just go for it. And if other people like it, like great. But that you can like do it for you, you know. It's something that I think it's really cool, and I think I would guess that kind of like whole mindset is a big part of you know, what people like me believe makes a band like Sarcator so great. And you know, in general, I would say it is a mindset that I really like. Regarding the band's logo, Sarcator wanted something that is like straightforward, but something that is also like easy to read. So they didn't want any like logo that is like hard to read. They wanted something like that's just straight there, like straightforward, and something that you can easily read. Which you know, tends to be logos that I really, really like. And you know, like Sarcator's logo, like let's be honest, it looks really, really cool. I'm a big fan of the logo. The lyrics on Sarcator's debut is generally about themes like the old extreme metal bands wrote about, but maybe not as serious as the band have described it themselves. On Sarcator's second album, however, they took a much more like a serious approach to the lyric writing. The song's lyrics were significantly darker and more personal compared to the lyrics on the debut. And something else that I really enjoy with Sarcator's approach to the lyrics is that they are leaving some space for the listener's own interpretations. And this is something that I really like with when bands are doing. I mean, not necessarily only about music either. Like, this is something that I enjoy a lot with movies as well. For the future, Sarcator is planning to release their next album ASAP. They hope for a 2024 release, but this is not confirmed yet. But hopefully, we will get a new Sarcator album next year. While their main focus right now is to work on this coming record, they will also keep playing shows in Sweden to perform their already released music. And I would say if you get the opportunity to attend one of these shows, you really must do it. There's no way around it. There's no other way to put it. I have actually personally seen Sarcator perform live, so I'm speaking from personal experience here. Sarcator is really great live. You should definitely see them. These guys are really a strong force live. So like if you go to one of their shows and if you see them live, you will not regret it, I tell you. Having said that, I believe this is a great way to end the episode. We at Metal Verbalizers really appreciate that you've been listening to this episode until the end. If you enjoyed this episode, then it would be great if you would like to give us a follow and help us spread the word. This way you can support both us as a podcast, but also the bands that we are verbalizing. We will be back next week with more verbalizing.